A new year, a new you, a new me, but can we expect a new market? Now, the sales numbers are down from 2021 compared to the entire year of 2022 by 38%, which makes a lot of sense considering all that's transpired over the course of the pandemic years, mainly being the rise of interest rates. So where exactly is the GTA real estate market headed in 2023? My name is Alice Prince, broker with Royal LePage Signature. I run a team here in the GTA, and we primarily focus on York Region, Durham Region, and Toronto. If you're looking to book a time to chat about the market or have any questions, you can use the Calendly link in the description below to schedule a time convenient for you. If you like educational videos like this one and find even an ounce of value, I would love if you can help me spread the word and hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps this little channel grow. So I think what we are seeing and hearing about the real estate market right now, with the sales being down almost cut in half basically, is to be expected, right? During 2022, we've seen 7 interest rate hikes, so of course that's going to cool down demand. A lot of buyers right now are super nervous to make a purchase in a declining market, and home sellers feel a certain way, especially seeing what prices did at the start of 2022 versus to where prices are now. But if we were to zoom out and look at this objectively, if you measure where prices left off in 2022 compared to where they were in 2021, the market is up 8.8%. The average price of a home in the GTA is $1,050,000. So basically that means that out of all the home sales that have happened in 2022, adding them all up and averaging them out, the market is up 8.8% in a year that's seen a market go from super hot to not. Now, this may seem a little confusing, and if it does, keep in mind that I'm speaking about the entire last 12 months as a whole. And you can see here from the graph of how the average prices in the GTA have reacted during years from 1975 all the way up until now. Really, the first 4 months of 2022 is what really carried the values through, right? From January to April, it really propelled and propped up the market. But what's interesting to note is that since June, the average prices throughout the GTA have pretty much remained flat. There was a slight decrease in December given the time of year, but because sales are low and we're not seeing the inventory we'd expect to see or need to see, prices have started to move sideways like what this graph is showing here. So what can we expect moving into 2023? Well, we're still experiencing low inventory levels. There's just not a whole lot on the market to choose from in general, and I'd really argue that there's even less homes available for sale that fit the typical standard buyer criteria. I think moving into the new year, we're still going to see this as a huge challenge. So right now, a lot of homes are sitting on the market for quite some time. And if you were to take the rate at which homes are being sold and the ratio between buyers to sellers, fundamentally, we're starting to approach that balanced market territory. Various housing types, areas, neighborhoods are going to continue to see this fluctuation of what homes are being listed at and ultimately sold for. And from the conversations I'm having, a lot of people are still wondering or wishing for home prices to go down further. But ultimately, it really depends on the supply and demand numbers. Now, if there's not a lot of good quality homes available for sale, ones that, buyers actually want to spend their money on, they're just going to wait it out and see. Well, what happens when a showstopper of a property comes onto the market? The demand will obviously gravitate towards that property, which is going to keep prices afloat. Now, what's interesting is that I'm still seeing some properties, of course not all of them, sell in multiple offers, meaning they have about 3 or 4 buyers bidding on that home. And we know what happens when buyers are in a competitive situation. They're going to spend that little bit more compared to what they would have spent if they were just negotiating with the seller one-on-one to obviously win the home. Now, homes that are priced well, show A++, are still getting a lot of action, not as much when comparing it to the start of 2022, but the market is still very active despite what the media is portraying. It really depends though on the property and is very much a case-by-case scenario. And don't get me wrong, buyers aren't coming with barrels of cash like what it felt like in the start of 2022, but bidding wars are still very much a thing. The tone is just much different. Now, I think we're going to continue to see that moving into 2023, especially once the Bank of Canada says, okay, enough is enough and actually stops raising rates. Once the general public sits and absorbs the numbers and prices, once they start to feel confident again, we're going to see an increase in activity. As I mentioned, after speaking with numerous people over the last couple weeks and seeing the amount of people who are actually viewing homes online, this really shows me that there's people out there who are still interested. They're just a little bit cautious or hesitant and in this wait and see holding phase. And this, more than anything, is creating a lot of pent-up demand. So once the dust settles a little bit, the market will become more active again. If you're the average home buyer and you're looking at what it costs you on a monthly basis with the rate increases now versus what they were at the start of last year, your monthly mortgage payment isn't that much different. So if you head on over to my website at www.princeco.ca, we actually have a mortgage calculator on there where you can compare the average prices to what they were at the start of the year and where rates were at that time as well versus what the average cost of a home now is and where rates currently are. And you'll see that they haven't actually changed that much. Now, the huge benefit to buyers right now is that they're saving a significant amount on the down payment and land transfer tax. And this portion equates to a large and hefty amount of your closing costs. It's also better to have a smaller mortgage, obviously, because you're less exposed, but the monthly mortgage cost hasn't really changed all that much. So aside from low inventory levels, new regulation like banning foreign buyers and the vacant home tax, the number one thing that is going to be the main topic of conversation is with the Bank of Canada and what it does with rates moving forward. They have been very clear that they want to fight inflation and get it back to a target rate of 2%, and they won't reduce rates until they have accomplished that. As the new year unfolds, we're going to continue to see prices adjust and trend downwards, but it's really going to depend on the housing types because the condo segment is reacting and will react differently than detached properties. And also it really depends on inventory levels in certain areas and pockets throughout the city and throughout various regions. I think that Durham region will continue to be a place of interest for a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers. This was a market that's seen a lot of growth over the last 3 years, but also a huge correction with the average price went from $1,030,000 to now being $875,000. Durham has been an attractive area for a lot of buyers, but even more so now that it's the only region within the GTA with an average price point under $900,000, making it super attractive, obviously, for first-time home buyers who are able to get into a detached home with less than 20% down. Additionally, out of all the regions within the GTA, Durham is the only one that has the tightest market conditions with months of inventory being at 1.9 compared to Toronto sitting at 3 and York region at 2.5 months of inventory. So basically, just to break that down further, for 2 homes that are being listed in Durham, there's 1 buyer versus Toronto, there's 3 homes for sale for every buyer. Ultimately, buyers have more to choose from in the big city compared to the suburbs. Although prices have come down significantly from their peak, homes that show well and are priced correctly outside of the city are still selling pretty quickly. Now, moving forward, once the numbers and data come out over the next couple months and comparing them to last year, those numbers are going to look very scary because remember, we are comparing it to an absolutely inflated market. So just something to keep in mind. But if you're considering making a move in 2023, I would really approach any decision with a long-term perspective. Also keeping in mind what's happening now with the prices has really been purposefully created because the Bank of Canada needs to raise interest rates to battle economic issues. Now, the real estate market is cyclical. We know that, history shows that, and the numbers are there to support that. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, I think, for the next few months as we regain our footing here, depending on the Bank of Canada's direction. But it's never too early to start the conversation and keep an eye on the market as it unfolds. So if you have any questions, please never hesitate to reach out. You can book a call using the link in the description below. And if you found value in this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so we can get this content out to more people like you. My name is Alice Prince. Ciao for now, and we will catch you on the next one.